Alright, this is going to be about a 10-minute video on how to use this log parser that I've written, and it's in Powershell, so you can modify it. It has some pretty neat features, and just using these supplied parameters, you can parse most logs and send email output. So these first few slides go over how to parse. I'm going to go past all of them, and you can review them later, and I might do a different video on them, but I think the more interesting thing is, well, first we'll do the use case, then we'll get to how the commands work. So the use case in this case is, say we have clients connecting to a wireless network, and then when they click accept terms of use, there's a log entry that says the date, the MAC address, and then the specific entry, which is the one we're interested in, actually. So you're going to have a log full of a bunch of entries, and you just want to select the ones that say is authorized by no authentication. And so you may also want to deduplicate, so that if the same MAC connects, don't deduplicate those entries. This is how to parse a log. I said I was going to pass by that pretty much. Just showing real quick though the values of interest in this entry, which are the date, the MAC address, and the string. And this is what you get when you delimit and store the string as an array. And really what this is important, and that is because the array lets you define where to find the date in terms of the element and the substring of that element. It lets you define where to find the unique value in terms of array and substring, and you can define the actual string as well that you're looking for. Just a little flowchart. Deduplication. This is just showing that the same value can appear twice, and you might not want to store it, because in this case, if the same wireless client connected twice throughout the day, it wasn't interesting. You really want to know how many unique devices were connecting. That could apply to intruders or different things. Storing the results. This is more about how you would store things so that you can later extract them. And hash tables, and using their get and set methods, make it very simple to store data for later retrieval. So the full output, this is what we're here for. When we actually do everything correctly, we get this output, and we're able to define each line whether or not to display it. It's pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to close that. The next one is the brief output, and it's just a one-liner. It says, over this year, there were 5 sessions across 2 unique devices. And then you can have an expanded output, which gives you a little more information and breaks it out, so you have this information, and then instead of doing the whole year lumped together, it separates by date. And this log this doesn't do time at this point, just by day. So we're going to look at the actual command, and then next there's some help, and that'll be all. So first of all, I just want to provide these links basically. This is just the command. This is the entire script, and this is the explanation of some of these commands. So that's a useful thing, because these are some of the key commands that really let you define how the format of your log and customize it for you. Log commands. Let's go over these. Alright, parsing the log file. Parse log file is the name of the thing. Start day and end day are both relative to the current date. If you had 1 and 1 here, it would just do for yesterday. So it would just filter for yesterday. The next group here are all related to sending mail, so I'll just pass over those for now. The log file, that's the path. This log name, you can see, can return a collection. So you could say server.log. If you're looking at different types of logs, a lot of times they'll be server and then we'll pin the date. So that lets you append, not have to hard code in just a log name. But how do you know if you want to get the most recent log or the one before that? You do that by defining this parameter, which is log to select by date. 0 is the most recent log, 1 is the next to most recent. So from that collection, you can select the one to work on. The one thing there is if you go out of bounds, it'll just say log not found. So if there are only 4 logs and you put a 5 here, or a 4 really, it'll give you that error. So it's a graceful error, but still just be aware that it's not going to default to just giving the oldest one if you put 999 here or something like that. Field to find. This is just what you're looking for. This is the delimiter, which in this case is a space. It could be a comma. Brief lines counted, sessions, and brief element description, devices. What that is this text. If there were 1 sessions log across 1 unique devices. So this could be, there were 1 routers logged across 2 unique subnets. Who knows? So that's all. That is, we're making progress here. Connected devices report. This is all has to do with the display, what you want to actually have display on the full log, all the way through here. Okay, so then date element and entry array. So these 3 pertain to the location in the array, the element in the array, and the substring of that element that handles the actual date, and that substring gets converted into a datetime object and compared to the current date. Test uniqueness. Let me come back to that because I want to go on to this one that says MAC, or is for the unique addresses. So if you are going to use the unique feature, you would define the element and the substring which contains that value. And so I want to come back to this one, which is test uniqueness true. If you set this to false, or leave it off, then these need to be set to false or left off as well. They default to false, but display unique line, display unique count. That'll just keep your log from having false data in it. If you do the full log, the brief log will work either way. But okay, so that covers that, and then that covers that. So I'll put this slideshow in the description, and if you have any questions, let me know, or improvements, and or alternate software. I'd be interested to know if there's something else out there that works this way. All right, thank you very much.